Man, Smackdown tonight. Smackdown was a roller coaster of a show, in my opinion. We had positives, but we had more negatives, in my opinion. We have a lot to go over. Just 2 weeks before the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, SummerSlam. What is going on, you guys? This is Joseph Conlon coming to you with your Smackdown review on Friday, August 7th, 2020. I'm not alone tonight on the Smackdown review. I'm with a very good friend who's been with me for over a year now. He's had my back for a very long time. We've been friends for about a year, talking about WWE almost every single week with each other. And I'm absolutely honored to have this person on my channel. He's a bright, intelligent wrestling fan. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Fiore. I'm not sure if that's bright enough, but if you guys can see him, there you go. You can back it up a little bit. Nick, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine tonight, Joe. I will say, I don't think I'm the only one that thinks this. Very, very weird SmackDown tonight, especially that ending. Don't know what to think of it.
Like I said in the beginning, I thought SmackDown was a very roller coaster of a show. We were talking about this earlier. I was hoping we could come on and review a good SmackDown, and by the looks of it, I don't really think we got a good SmackDown tonight. What about you?
Well, definitely weird. I don't know what to think of it. We had some good. There were some bad. I wouldn't say decent. I thought it was okay-ish.
Yeah.
Not great. Definitely not great.
Probably
okay.
Probably split 50-50 in the middle, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, kind of decent, but not great. I'd say kind of decent, not decent, but kind of decent, like an okay-ish, but there were some good, were some bad, ugly, weird.
Absolutely. We'll get into everything on the SmackDown review, but before the SmackDown review, make sure you guys go check out my Monday Night Raw review from Monday, AEW with James K. White on Wednesday, and yesterday's NXT review, which got over 120 views. So I want to thank each and every one of you who tuned in to my NXT review yesterday. Great numbers for that video, and we're on the road to take over 30. So let's talk about SmackDown tonight. SmackDown opened up with a simple Firefly Funhouse. This was 2 minutes recapping what happened last week. And Bray Wyatt said the Fiend will be here later tonight, and he will have some actions. So really nothing much with the Firefly Funhouse to start SmackDown tonight. What are your thoughts?
Well, it had the follow-up from the end of last week, which made sense. But like you said, it wasn't much. It was short and sweet. I don't know what you think. I know some people were saying, like when Nikki Cross pushed Alexa Bliss at the end of SmackDown last week after she lost to Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title. Some people are saying, Nikki Cross, though she pushed Alexa Bliss, she should be a heel. You know, I think Bliss is just bland as ever as a babyface, and she's a better heel. I don't like Alexa Bliss. She's not a good wrestler, but she's better as a heel than a face. And her with the Fiend as his sister Abigail, if booked right, could be pretty intriguing.
I would have to agree. Go ahead.
I mean, Nikki Cross could be a good sister Abigail, definitely to a T. But Alexa Bliss with the Fiend, I think it's something a bit different. And again, like I said, I think Bliss is a better heel than a babyface. She still sucks, but that's just my opinion. I just think her better work is a heel, my honest opinion. But her with the Fiend, it's something new, it's something different. Plus, it plays to the fact with the Braun Strowman Swan fight, and also it kind of ties into that. So those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah, nice. We'll get into more Alexa Bliss in a little bit here on the SmackDown review. But the first match tonight that we got in-ring action started off with Matt Riddle versus Sheamus. I was expecting a pretty good match with these guys. These are two guys that I totally respect. They are hard-working guys. They are really good at what they do. And this was a good, physical, hard match by Matt Riddle and Sheamus. We got a couple 10 beats of the drum by Sheamus, high knees by Matt Riddle, submission holds, just physical giving each other, they were like hitting each other really hard. Matt Riddle in the finish was doing some kicks to Sheamus outside. He threw Sheamus in the ring. Out comes Out comes Chad Gable. Chad Gable causes a disqualification. He throws Riddle in the ring. They brawl. Riddle kicks the shit out of Chad Gable. Riddle goes to the back. Sheamus throws in Chad Gable and gives Gable 2 bro kicks to end that segment / match. Good match, very physical. I love myself a physical match. I don't know if do you remember the physical match Matt Riddle had with Roderick Strong at TakeOver 25?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, that was the match that opened TakeOver 25, and that had like an AEW and NXT important feel. Both guys killed it, and I have to agree with you, Joe. This match here tonight with Matt Riddle and Sheamus kind of had that physicality with Strong and Riddle from TakeOver 25. And I will say another thing. I don't know if you caught this in the match. You know how Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne are former NXT champions. There was one spot in the match where Matt Riddle had Sheamus' fingers and was trying to bend his fingers like Pete Dunne does.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, that spot did happen in the match.
I honestly, I cringe when I see something like that.
It's not that bad for me. It's like he's not really breaking his fingers, you know?
Yeah. I mean, someone in the ring with Pete Dunne in there, good luck, because, you know, Pete Dunne's definitely known for bending fingers and manipulating joints, man. And I think Matt Riddle kind of took a page out of his playbook, kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. But what'd you think of the finish with Gable coming in and causing a disqualification?
Well, one thing, I'm glad Matt Riddle wasn't pinned or submitted, and I'm glad Sheamus wasn't pinned or submitted. And I think you said a day or two ago you were hoping for Matt Riddle and Sheamus on SmackDown. It could be a good match, and I think we got what we wanted. Also, there was that positive, but there's a negative. Matt Riddle can't lose because he lost to AJ a few weeks ago. Can't lose a second time. And Sheamus can't lose because he had the bar fight not long ago, which he lost to Jeff Hardy in the bar fight. So neither guy can take a loss here unless they do a DQ finish, which I'm glad they did.
Yes.
And Chad Gable attacking Riddle, yes, the DQ finish I liked, but afterwards, getting Matt Riddle beating the crap out of him and then taking 2 bro kicks from Sheamus, not a fan of that. But one thing I'm gonna say, Chad Gable looks really ripped, and I'm not sure if I'm the only one that thinks that.
Yeah, I mean Gable's in good shape. I would love if Gable is being tied in this feud with Matt Riddle and Corbin. I would love if we get a Matt Riddle and Gable match on SmackDown. That could be some good stuff there. But I mean,
sign me up, man. Sign me up.
Yeah, that was Riddle and Sheamus on the opening match. Overall, I would give it a thumbs up match.
Me too, and also, it kind of got me thinking. There was on Instagram a few days ago, Tyson Kidd was in the ring possibly for a comeback. I mean, if Edge and Bryan can come back, so can Tyson Kidd and so can Jason Jordan. I do miss American Alpha, and SmackDown could use some tag teams. What about reuniting American Alpha and putting them with Baron Corbin?
Good idea, I think.
I mean, they're better off without Corbin, but if it plays to the Matt Riddle storyline trying to take him out, then, and like you said, if we get Riddle and Gable, or if we get, and the possibility of Riddle and Jason Jordan, could be really good.
Moving on here, we had Miz TV with Sonya Deville. And I want to try to get this segment done as fast as possible. Dude, this was probably the worst thing on the show, if I'm not going to... Maybe not, but this was not good whatsoever. Miz and Morrison are super cringe together. They were introducing Mandy Rose's hair, and they were talking like Mandy Rose and mimicking Mandy Rose, just with hair, with eyes in the background. And you wonder why SmackDown is below 2 million viewers. Watch this segment. This was not good. This was not a good segment whatsoever. And the fact that Sonya Deville was involved in the segment didn't really make it much better. And to be honest, she cut the promo. She cut the same promo she did a couple weeks ago. So I really did not see a good point in this. Heavy Machinery came out to set up a tag team match that no one cares about. So at the end, this segment was a failure in my opinion. What about you, Nick?
Watching that segment, was I watching SmackDown or was I watching Sesame Street where they have like these hands and they have the Google eyes? And was I watching that or a wrestling show with that segment?
I don't know what to tell you.
Whoever wrote that segment needs to be terminated because that does not belong on a wrestling show. It belongs nowhere near it. Whoever okayed this should be ashamed of themselves. Miz and Morrison, and I liked them back in late 07, but I will say this, and this needs to be addressed. Get John Morrison and The Miz away from each other. They need to break them up fast. They're not funny. Their Miz and Morrison, hey, hey, ho, ho catchphrase of Johnny Drip Drip is super cringe. It's not funny. In fact, The Miz is just holding Morrison down, in my opinion. You know, ever since The Miz lost to Shane McMahon last year, he's never, ever recovered from that still. And putting Morrison with Miz is doing him no favors whatsoever. And I'm hearing rumors of a draft this October. If that's the case, I hope that happens. Because if that's the case, you can keep Morrison on SmackDown and send The Miz back to Raw where he needs to be, where he belongs. And plus, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't The Miz a USA Network guy to begin with Miz and Mrs. and Cannonball?
Yes.
So why is he even on Fox and USA Network are rival companies?
That's a great point. I actually did not think about that. I mean, I have no interest in Cannonball or in Miz and Mrs., but hey, that's a good point, man. Both shows are on the USA Network, so get Miz on Monday Night Raw, where the USA Network is on. But I agreed with everything that you said. That's why when I had your face on the camera, I was pointing at my phone, because you were speaking the facts right there, my friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I hope, like I said, hopefully there's a draft this October, and especially SmackDown needs it, because you watched the draft last year, that draft was bad. SmackDown was shafted last year, and it was rushed.
Their roster sucks.
Yep.
And
just look at who they have on SmackDown.
Yeah, nothing's fresh. Nothing's fresh at all. That show needs a complete makeover, for sure.
Yep. Not only get the Miz off there and get Lacey Evans, get Strowman off. They, like you said, they could use the complete overhaul back more than anything.
Absolutely.
Especially their women's division. The only good is Bayley, Sasha, and Naomi. That's it. Who else is in there on that SmackDown women's division that people actually care about? Lacey Evans? No. Tamina? No. Is she even employed? Dana Brooke? Ugh.
Yeah. Cesaro, one half of the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, took on Lince Dorado. This was nothing but a TV filler. This went 7 minutes. This was fine for what it was. Cesaro got the victory over Lince Dorado, and I really have nothing much to say about this. This was filler. What about you?
They went like 4. Yeah, they went. They didn't go exactly. Mine wasn't bad, but Lince Dorado's very, very underrated, and so is mentally. The Lucha House Party as a whole is underrated. I mean, they're really not bad in the ring whatsoever. And Cesaro, we all know about Cesaro. We all know what he brings to the table. One of the most legit best guys they have on that roster today. And I'm glad Cesaro, the champion, you know, usually on WWE television, they have the champions lose clean to set up a title match in the future. I'm glad that didn't happen with this match. Cesaro actually won here. So
I'm glad about that too. I don't like when champions lose on television, man.
I mean, look at with MVP before he lost to Apollo Crews on Monday a few weeks ago when he lost that 6-man tag to Mustafa Ali. It's like your champion losing weak. I mean, your champion losing clean. Not only does that make the champion look weak, but it devalues the prestige of the title. And that's not a good look.
Absolutely. But Cesaro got the victory over Lince Dorado. I wanted to move quick with the past 2 segments because the next segment we got a lot to talk about on this one. We had The Fiend.
Oh, yeah.
The Fiend. He actually made an entrance on live TV. and it looked pretty damn badass, I'm not gonna lie. The Fiend's entrance inside the Performance Center looked pretty damn badass. And then we go to commercial. Alexa Bliss is out. The Fiend looks like he's gonna do the same thing to Alexa. Alexa puts her hand up. She blocks the mandible claw. She rubs the Fiend's mask. The Fiend goes to the corner. He walks back. Then we hear a noise from Braun Strowman. And the first thing I was like is, oh, Braun Strowman's back. And he cut a very boring promo about the Fiend, and I did not believe a word that he said, because he said, I don't give a crap about Alexa Bliss. And I'm like, dude, now that you got Alexa in it, you kind of got to make it about it. The fact that he said that, I absolutely hated that. And listen, Nick, they took something that was good last week, and this week, they turned it into shit. This segment did absolutely nothing for me. And I believe nothing that Braun Strowman says, because at the end of the day, Braun Strowman's losing to the Fiend at SummerSlam. Your thoughts on this segment?
I hope so. God, I hope the Fiend beats Braun Strowman at SummerSlam. And I'm not the only one that thinks this. If you think Braun Strowman, as Universal Champion, does any good for the SmackDown brand, you're a fool. He is nothing but a one-trick pony. He's not title material. He's never going to be title material. I mean, it's come to a point in AJ's IC champ is a lot more important and prestigious than Braun Strowman and the Universal Championship. Just goes to show you the championship doesn't make the man makes the championship.
Yes.
And yes, like you said, the entrance was awesome. And we should be safe for a pay-per-view, but it was awesome to see it tonight. And Alexa touching, like you said, the mask and all, it's like kind of weird. It's like, is it a relationship with Alexa and the Fiend now? But like I was saying earlier, it could be something different with Alexa's sister Abigail, but then it's like Braun Strowman, it's like you should be caring about Alexa. It's like you should be defending her and going after the Fiend, but Braun cuts to get another boring promo. It's like, just goes to show you how bad Braun Strowman is. He sucks.
And
it's come to a point where the Universal title needs to be dumped in the trash and bring this back.
Yeah, bring the World Heavyweight title back. Exactly. But
that has a lot more prestige than the Universal title at this point.
Absolutely. This segment also showed how lazy WWE's creative is. They did something that was so creative last week, and this week, they just had Braun Strowman cut a promo in the swamp, and they had his eyes to the Titantron, and the Fiend stood there like a fool, and they completely ruined the momentum of this feud. And you know what? Are you surprised?
Not shocked. The only thing I'm hoping is the Fiend beats Braun at SummerSlam.
Oh my God, I can't wait. We know it's happening, so once Braun Strowman loses that championship, I'll be happy. I will absolutely be happy.
SummerSlam, Braun is going to kiss that title goodbye, and when he loses that title, his reign will not be missed. I'll tell you that. No,
absolutely not. This segment did nothing for either of us. Jeff Hardy versus King Corbin. King Corbin on our TV. I immediately yawn.
I don't blame you. Actually, believe it or not, when Corbin showed up on the screen, I was close to doing it, and I wanted to. I was about to turn on Guy Fieri on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. He was on tonight here at Smackdown.
Oh, nice, man. But Jeff Hardy and Corbin, this match, it was okay. It wasn't great, but I mean, at the end, it was a DQ finish. Again, we got another DQ finish because Sheamus came out to bro kick Corbin to give his former rival Jeff Hardy the victory, and they did this just to set up a match between Corbin and Sheamus right after the commercial break. Again, lazy booking by WWE.
Well, when Sheamus came out and kicked his former rival Jeff Hardy, and then he got in Corbin's face, I honestly thought they were going to go to the next 7 and book Sheamus and Corbin for next week, but apparently that wasn't the case. Anytime he's on, and he's not bad in the ring. It's just the king gimmick that's awful. But like you said, I thought the match was okay, but it was okay. But I mean, like you said, another DQ finish. Again, either do that or don't book the match at all.
Yep, absolutely. If you're gonna do a DQ finish like this, just to set up the next match, you might as well not even do the match. And then we got into Sheamus and King Corbin, a match that I just did not care about. King Corbin, back-to-back matches. Gee, I wonder how many people changed the channel after that one.
I bet you millions of people, I wouldn't say millions, but I bet you a lot of people changed the guy Fiore at that point.
Absolutely.
Again, Corbin lost. And again, Corbin lost to Sheamus. And so again, King Corbin, again, a loser.
Yep. Matt Riddle distracted Corbin. Corbin ducked, took a bro kick, and Sheamus defeated Baron Corbin. Where Sheamus goes from here, I have no idea. I hope they get him on a good roll on SmackDown. Sheamus is so good. He deserves to be in a big program. I would like to see him go after the Intercontinental Championship, in my opinion. What about you?
I think that'd be great. AJ for Sheamus, I don't think that's been done before. But I think it's something different. It could be a good match.
Yeah, I agree with you. Then something big happened. We got a live video call with Stephanie McMahon to Sasha Banks and Bayley. And Stephanie says how she is happy that Sasha and Bayley have all the gold. They congratulate them. She says she's not going to punish them for their tactics lately, and she's not going to suspend them, but she's going to challenge them. Sasha could be defending the Raw Women's Championship against Asuka at SummerSlam, which we all know is going to happen, so we're going to get that. Asuka's beating Bayley on Raw this week. And then she challenges Bayley, and she gives other women opportunity for things that Bayley has done to them in the past. So, next week on SmackDown, we're getting a triple brand battle royal, which means women from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT will compete in a battle royal, and the winner will face Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship at SummerSlam. Any idea who you think the winner could be?
Gosh, it could be anyone. It could be Shayna, it could be Bianca, or it could be the NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai. It could be Tegan Nox or Candice LeRae or Liv Morgan. Could be anyone. One thing I will say, Tegan Nox, if she's in it, she could possibly win it. And the Tegan Nox and Bayley feud and match at SummerSlam is something that I would not mind at all, man.
Yeah, I originally pitched it. I said Tegan Nox has nothing to do with NXT. She just had a women's championship match with Io Shirai, which was pretty good for what I saw. And I am a huge fan of Tegan Nox. She reminds me of Becky Lynch, and she's someone that can get over big if we had an audience, in my opinion. And, like, who else is there? I've heard people say Rhea Ripley, but number one, Rhea already lost to Charlotte on a big pay-per-view. I don't want to see Rhea lose on a big pay-per-view again. And number two, she's tied up into a feud with Mercedes Martinez. So now I don't think Rhea's the right person. I did hear Shayna. That kind of makes sense. I heard Bianca. I don't think they're going to do that. What that makes the most sense to me is going with Tegan Nox. That's something new. It's fresh. Tegan is very good. And that's a match I would absolutely look forward to at SummerSlam.
if Tegan Knox does win the Battle Royal next week, like we were talking earlier, if there's a draft this October, and if there's call-ups, Tegan to SmackDown might not be a bad idea, especially with that SmackDown Women's Division, and they do need legit women wrestlers. They're bad. Like, only good is Sasha, Bayley, Naomi. That's it. They need more. And I think Tegan could add a good element to SmackDown. And she plays a great babyface, like you said. She could be that next last kicker Becky Lynch and Brooke Wright. And she is a good babyface, and she has that crowd connection. And I think her and Bayley could have a good match of chemistry, especially because it's face and heel. It works perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. I just hope when she gets called up to the main roster eventually that they don't bury her. So that's that. I'm going for Tegan Knox to win next week's Battle Royal. Tag team action. Heavy Machinery. Miz and Morrison. What do you think happened, folks? Mandy and Sonya, they were brawling, and the ref couldn't control it, and the ref called a DQ. And I'm like, wait, what? They're not even the same match. This brings me back to last week when we had this week's Raw, when we had Sasha and Shayna, and Asuka attacked Bayley, and the ref called a DQ. Logic gap after logic gap. This made no sense. This was garbage. What'd you think about it? Go ahead, Nick.
I agree with you. Logic gap after logic gap for sure. It's like Sonya's at ringside with Miz and Morrison, and Mandy coming out, not even part of the match, attacking Sonya. Like, there's no sense there. And it's like, number one, no one cared for the match to begin with. Number two, it's like, it's just, like, why, like you said, the same thing they did on Raw, they did again tonight. What sense does it make? And it's just, it insults our intelligence. But I will say this, though. I do like Mandy Rose's new soccer mom haircut. I think it looks good on her, to be honest.
Yeah, I do too. It looks pretty good, actually, but we all know where this is heading. This is going to be Mandy and Sonya in a hair versus hair match, probably at SummerSlam. And I don't see Mandy Rose losing all of her hair, so that's that.
I can't imagine Mandy Rose or Sonya with no hair, though.
I can see Sonya with no hair.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I don't know. We haven't seen a hair versus hair match in years, but it's just hard to believe either woman with no hair, especially Mandy.
Yeah, we shall see. We shall see what happens. Finally, the last segment. The camera pans on Michael Cole and Corey Graves. The camera is shaking. Out comes Retribution. They make Michael Cole and Graves run to the back. The camera guy runs to the back. The other camera guy runs to the back. Greg Hamilton's running to the back. They are attacking the NXT wrestlers who are in the audience. They take spray paint. They spray paint a red line across the SmackDown symbol. They are spray painting the walls. They flipped over the announce table. And they destroyed the entire SmackDown set tonight at the closing segment. In my opinion, I don't know what to make of this. But if there's one thing I'm going to say, they tried way too hard to make this like the Nexus. They tried way too hard. What do you think?
I agree, Joe. They tried way too hard, especially with that chainsaw where they just chopped the ring ropes apart. Was it decent? Not great. Was it decent? Yes, but was it better than Nexus Invasion? Absolutely not. I don't think anything's coming close to that. I'll tell you that. But I want to say, though, I don't know if you caught this, too, whether the 5 Retribution members had unmasked. They didn't show their faces, but it showed, like, 2 of them having long hair, assuming there's 2 females in the group. And one of them sounded a lot like Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, it kind of did. I think that it might have been me. There might be 4 males and 1 female, or 3 males and 2 females. I don't know what to think. by the way I'm looking at them, I'm not sure. One of the females looks like she had orange or red hair, so maybe one of the females is Santana Garrett. It's just an option. But I feel like the reveal, when they reveal themselves, which I hope is soon, I feel like we are all...
This was a weird SmackDown tonight, honestly.
Absolutely, but when I feel like they're going to reveal themselves, I feel like we're going to be disappointed. That's how I honestly feel, because WWE disappoints us in everything, so, why should I change my manner,
Yeah. And plus, what brand could they end up on if there's a draft now that's over? It's like, you kind of got to think, what brand are they going to end up on? We saw them on Raw, we saw them here tonight on SmackDown. They're not even revealed yet, so it could be anybody.
I have no idea, man. I really don't know what to think, and that's the way SmackDown went off.
They all look short, too, not...
What was that?
Yeah. And they all look short, too, so I can guarantee you one of them is definitely not Dominic Dijakovic.
No, absolutely not. They looked like they were like 5'5" and no higher. They were small. They really were. But that's the way SmackDown went off the air. Did they catch us? Did they try to get us to tune in the next week? Yeah, sort of. But in my opinion, they tried way too hard. And this week's SmackDown was very weird in my opinion. And that's the way we wrap up the SmackDown review tonight here on the Big Fight Field channel. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you have not already, make sure you subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel, as we are 31 subscribers away until 200 subscribers. So I want to get that ASAP. Comment down below what you guys thought of tonight's episode of SmackDown. Like this video if you enjoyed my SmackDown review along with Nick Fiore tonight. Follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph. And where can they follow you on Twitter? You there?
ICK579. Yep, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I lost you there for a little bit, but you can follow him at FioreNick579, and I'm gonna take a break for the weekend. I'm gonna be filming no videos. Sunday is my birthday, so I'm just gonna take that day off, relax, and just enjoy my 18th birthday. So the next time I'll be on the channel is Monday night for Raw. Any last minute words before we get out of here, Nick?
Well, I will say, Raw Underground sucks. Tonight's SmackDown was weird. I don't know what to think of this, man. It's just, anything could happen, but we'll see what happens next week.
Yep, it should be hopefully an interesting week. And Nick, I want to thank you for coming on the Big Fight Field channel tonight.
Pleasure, man. Always a great pleasure, man.
You will probably be back on the channel at some point in 2020, so look forward to that.
Awesome.
Yep. This is Joseph Conlon. This is Nick Fiore. We're getting out of here. Have a good night. Stay safe.